Alright, alright. I've had this video. I've had this video in my watch list, but I kind of forgot about it actually. Apparently Moist Critical uploaded a video. I saw, you want to know something? I saw this video popped up on my feed as well. I saw this video popped up on my feed. Apparently someone is getting divorced over Yu-Gi-Oh. Is it like a Yu-Gi-Oh game? Don't tell me like they were like shadowed, like they were dueling in the shadow realm or something, and he won and his wife went into the shadow realm. Did his wife get sent to the shadow realm or something, you know? Is that what literally what happened? I'm kind of curious what happens. All right, you know what? I'm curious. Voice Critical, lay it on
A few
me.
nights ago on stream, I watched a little bit of a video called I Got Divorced Over Yu-Gi-Oh! And I went into it...
I saw this video. I didn't see the video, but it popped up on my feed, and I was just like, what is this, you know?
No, like lollipop and spinny hat, thinking it was going to be like good, silly fun. Like I thought it was like an exaggeratory title where he was telling a story about how his wife walked in like Seto Kaiba and ripped his blue eyes, and then he said, "Enough is enough. We'll play a shadow game to decide the fate of our marriage," and then they divorced or something.
That would have been pretty funny in my personal opinion. that would have been the most funniest way to get divorced, you know. That'd be a great story to tell down the line or so to your kids and grandkids.
The reality is, it's a very honest and open look at an unhealthy relationship, and it's one that I went back and finished the video for and have been thinking about since. So in a nutshell, this guy had a YouTube channel that was dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was actually paying his bills through the content he was making. So it's not like this was a hobby that was destructive to him. You know, he wasn't going out on the streets and selling his butt for Yu-Gi-Oh! Briefcases of cards. Like, he was making a living through Yu-Gi-Oh! And his YouTube channel, but his wife didn't really like it. She didn't have any respect for it, and it basically boiled down to he married like his #1 hater, and she
Jesus. Oh. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing for me too. I think I dated one person before where like they were like the complete opposite of me. Like completely like the complete opposite of me. Like the things that they liked were like stuff that I did not like. But then the person's the stuff that I liked, they did not like at all. Like they fucking hated the shit that I enjoy, you know. And I also did not enjoy any of the stuff that they like, you know. But for some apparent reason, we made the relationship work somehow. I don't know how, but we made it work somehow, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, so it worked, but I don't think it would have lasted very long. In my well, actually, I say that, but I think that was the only relationship I had that was like literally the longest. It was like 2.5 years I was dating that person, from what I remember. If I did my math correctly, I could be wrong. Take my comment as a grain of salt. But it was a really long relationship, though. I do remember it was a pretty long relationship, though. That's what I do remember.
eventually wore him down enough to the point where he did abandon the hobby and his YouTube channel.
That's crazy.
Because she just thought it was kind of cringe, I guess. Like, I'm not saying in every healthy relationship your partner has to, you know, get into whatever hobby you're into, but at the very least, the bare minimum is being understanding and supportive of it.
I'm like, if he's paying the bills, if he's paying, like, you know, if my boyfriend is into Yu-Gi-Oh cards and he's like making bank out of it and he's paying bills, he's paying whatever the fuck he wants to pay, you know, I'd be like, you know what? Hey man, you do you, man. If you like it, you're enjoying it, you're having fun with it. Who am I to stop you, you know? Even then, I enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh anyways. Well, actually, I haven't really played Yu-Gi-Oh. I just collect the cards. That's about it. I just collect the pretty art. That's it.
Like, I'm not saying she had to go out there and get a tier 0 deck or learn how to pendulum summon so she could start banishing assholes to the Shadow Realm, but maybe don't be constantly spitting and shitting on your husband for something that he's clearly passionate about.
True,
and something that is actively making him money.
Hey, Gaylon.
I got divorced over Yu-Gi-Oh.
I need to say this. Let me just say it straight out the way. I am no longer married, and I'm divorced.
More time for Yu-Gi-Oh! You can grind. YCS pretty soon, I think. Can't remember when the next YCS is, but you got so much time now.
When I met this woman,
Imagine me showing up to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. That would be a crazy experience, you know? Or like witnessing a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament at least. I don't think I'm that good or so in order for me to be in a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. I kind of suck ass now. I'm used to the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh was up to the number cards. That was it. Like the number cards that you do like the numbering, the whole weird number shit, whatever the fuck there are. I forgot what the fuck they're called. I think there's like a specific name for them, but I call them the number cards anyways because they had like a bunch of numbers on the black cards anyways.
Woman. And I told her about my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. She hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you could do something better with your life. You should go back to school.
All right, I hate that. Man, just let someone have hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? It's not hurting anyone. Not hurting you. It's nerdy. Sure. Who cares? It's a hobby. I bet she had stupid hobbies too. Everyone does.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. And you know what I did? I sold all my equipment. I sold my YouTube channel.
Whoa.
Sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life. Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I chose to do, YouTube.
Damn, dude, imagine selling all of your cards. Dude, I could never do that. Like I hold too much. There's too much sentimental memories to my cards, you know? Like I even have old ass cards too as well. Some of them are pretty kept well conditioned, to be honest.
I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You got to do something better with your life.
There are times where someone's hobby is detrimental to them, whether it's financially draining or mentally draining. Like that is a problem, and that's where you'd come in and say like, hey, maybe it's time we look for something else, try a different path, and move on to something else.
Or minimize it as much as possible.
But that's not the case here. This guy had a channel, and his YouTube and Yu-Gi-Oh hobby were helping sustain him and pay bills. So her coming in there, fee-fi-fo-fumming around, marching up to him, saying like, you gotta move on, makes no fucking sense. Like, that's so stupid.
What a terrible woman, in my personal opinion. That's a terrible girlfriend, and that's a terrible wife. You know? Like, why would I, like, it's the same thing if somebody, like, if my boyfriend would, like, or, like, girlfriend or so, would come up to me and say, like, why are you drawing, you know? You know, you could do something better than your life, you know? Or, like, they'll say, like, AI is gonna take over, you know, and all this other shit, you know? I'm like, I don't really care, you know? I just enjoy drawing, you know? That's my hobby. I just enjoy it. I don't really take it serious as my hobby, you know? I just enjoy doing it. That's it.
Just basically saying it's time to grow up. You know, this is a children's card game. We don't do this as adults. It's time you be a real man, a real adult, and start doing crypto scams. Like, it's just silly.
Yeah.
And she's no longer here. And this problem persists. She told me at that time, hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere.
Chasing the dream.
Yes, YouTube is what I did for a living.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you're working at home, I'm just like, you know, you're doing everything at home. And I assume he gets like delivery and stuff like that for like food products and stuff like that. I assume because it's available for you to get like stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, well, you know.
It's how I paid my bills. And I was street performing also. How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home.
Oh shit. Well, there you go. See? Okay. All right. That's not too bad.
Never needed a car. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do.
Why did she even come into your life then? It sounds like she didn't respect your hobbies. She didn't respect your drive, your passion, or anything.
Yeah.
Why the fuck was she even here?
That's true.
Just to completely change you? That's sad. There's definitely a limit to, like, if you're obsessed with a hobby and it's actually a detriment on your life, which it doesn't sound like it was for him, then I can understand someone coming in and be like, all right, look, maybe we need to reevaluate this,
Yeah.
you know, maybe, you know, collecting fucking, I don't know, jelly beans and putting all your money into antique jelly beans is, you know, taking its toll. Maybe we should look at other things so you can get out of the house, you can start, you know, finding something else. I get it. But it doesn't sound like it was to that point here. This is just sad. I imagine the channel was generating income. He just said he was paying his bills through YouTube and street performing.
That's amazing, to be honest, actually. To be paying your bills or so off YouTube, that's pretty crazy. Even then, it's just like, man, dude, it's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I think I would probably immediately break up with them if they try to, like, change me of, like, my hobbies of what I enjoy to do, you know, like drawing. You know, sometimes I'll collect Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, or, like, sometimes I'll buy a figurine, you know. I mean, I have all the money in the entire world, but, like, you know, if I can, you know, if I save, you know, money to buy a figurine, I will, you know, which I usually do. From time to time, not always, but from time to time. You know, it's just something for myself, you know, to kind of, like, you know, reward myself or pat me on the back, you know. Yeah, I don't know, just stuff like that, you know, simple things, you know, art supplies, usually I go crazy for sometimes.
So he was making money. He was perfectly sustaining himself. At least that's the impression I get. She was probably embarrassed to tell her friends what he does for a living. Well, then don't be with him. If you're embarrassed of your significant other, why are you with them in the first place?
That is true.
That's on you. If you don't respect them, don't be with them. It's bad for both you and the partner.
Yes.
I feel like this probably happens a lot, although I've only seen it happen to one of my friends once, where he got with a girl that just really didn't like anything about him. Well, you know, like, what do you...
That's so weird, though. Like, that's a weird thing. Or, like, if you don't like anything about him or her, it's just like, what's the point, you know?
You doing there? Why are you choosing to be with this person if the goal is to change everything about them, to turn them into a blank canvas?
I'm embarrassed to be seen with son. I'm embarrassed to be seen with son. Does that mean we get friendship divorce? What the fuck are you talking about? Shut your bitch ass up, Sage. Speaking of Game Awards, it's expected the Mobile Legends Bang Bang is not win because how small is compared to the other esports games. What? Oh, we already saw that, man. We already saw the whole Game Award stuff already.
This for you.
We saw that a while ago.
That this doesn't make sense. Find someone that's more compatible with the things you like at that point. Like in this case, she comes in and she just doesn't like any of it. You're going to flush Yu-Gi-Oh down the shitter. You're gonna go back to school. Honestly, it sounds like a mom that's trying to, like, discipline their kid. Like, all right, no more Xbox. We're unplugging the Xbox, and you're gonna go to school twice as much now. Somehow, we're gonna find extra school for you to go to. It's just so fucking toxic. This guy was doing just fine. He was providing for himself through his passion, through his ambition, his hobbies, but it didn't fit what she thought was acceptable. So she goes in there and tries to force him to do all of it, and unfortunately succeeds where he does abandon his hobbies and his...
I would never abandon my hobbies for a relationship or a significant other. Hell fucking no. Hell no. Not in a million years. Because I would just literally break up with them, to be honest. I don't care, guy or girl, doesn't matter. I would just break up with them. I'd be like, nope. I love my hobbies. They give me comfort, and I love them, and I love doing what I do, so...
Passion for her, for this relationship. And that just shouldn't have been a sacrifice that he was forced to make for the sake of the relationship. He didn't need to tribute summon his hobby in order to get his wife's appreciation for what she believes is an acceptable idea for an adult hobby. It was making money, it was paying his bills, and it's something he loved doing.
Yeah.
Why change that? There's really no good argument I can think of for it. Sounds like she just hated Yu-Gi-Oh! She must have been more of a Digimon gal.
maybe Magic the Gathering, you know?
She hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey...
She cried because you had Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards? That's so weird. That's weird. Who cries?
Priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You tell me your wife was crying about Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
Then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like, things that's a part of my life for someone else to feel happy.
I made money off of Yu-Gi-Oh in the past. Actually, a tidbit to tell you guys. This is a history, a little bit of lore about myself. I actually sold Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You know, from time to time. Like it's like if cards that I don't specifically like in general, I just usually sell them and make money in return, and then buy more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then try to make a profit out of it. So yeah.
And I feel miserable in the process. I love that. I miss that. Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me. It's not about the money, but that was money gone from me.
That's true.
That was his career.
Yeah.
Man, what a disaster. What a shame. Imagine your Yu-Gi-Oh passion being so epic it makes your wife cry. My husband has mastered the shadow games. Damn. Fuck. I'd want nothing more than my partner loving their job, man. I'd cry tears of joy.
Yeah, I would cry. I would be happy for my partner, pursuing their career and everything, and I'm there cheering them on and everything, and they achieved it and whatnot, Shit, man.
I imagine that's how it works in most healthy relationships, brother. I feel like it's kind of important to have, like, respect.
Yes, quite
You know what I
indeed.
mean? Like, I feel like that's kind of basic. He triggered her trap card of divorce. Now, another thing I was thinking about when I went back and watched the whole video is that there is a time where a hobby becomes too consuming, where it starts straining the relationship. Like,
True.
maybe he was always fiddling around with those Yu-Gi-Oh cards, by
Yeah.
candlelight in like a dark room, and
I am
scratching at his
pro.
neck for more Yu-Gi-Oh cards and ignoring his wife and letting the relationship start to crumble around him because it's always Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. But I don't think that was the case here.
No.
And you'll
No.
see why I think that in a moment, the more he explains about how it got to that point. And it's not all about Yu-Gi-Oh! He does talk about how a big part of his life has always been music and street performing, and even that wasn't acceptable to
Wait.
her or her parents, really.
What? Man, that sounds like a terrible person. That sounds like a terrible woman, in my personal opinion. God damn, dude. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I met the parents. They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I am a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician. I am a musician. Then they said, hey, you have a degree? I said, I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years and told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree.
That's
Oh shit, dude. Sounds like Asians. You know what? You could be probably right, to be honest. It could be because like they're asking for like a degree, and they're like, it sounds like my parents. Yeah, it sounds like Mama Azathoth too as well. And she's not even fully Asian. She's mostly Hispanic. That's the craziest thing. She's only part Asian, so that's the craziest thing about that.
It's fucking brutal, and to me, it blows my little noodle because
Hey, Sere,
this
how
guy
you
was
doing
doing
there, Sere?
so fine.
I hope you're
on
doing
his
well.
own. He was paying all of his bills. He was living just fine with the money he was making through Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube content and street performing music. And he even...
Yeah, man, it sounds like I have a headache. You have a headache? Why don't you get some rest? Take some medicine. You should rest up. Go lay down. It's always good for you. For me, I get migraines from time to time, so which is the worst. For me, it's worse when I get migraines. But I'm not tired. I'll make you tired real fast. Just grab a frying pan and grab a frying pan and put you to sleep. Should I gone with I am engineer or doctor? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Honestly, it's still kind of, oh, dude, it's so weird though. Like even then, like in today's age, you kind of don't like a degree doesn't really matter anymore. At the end of the day, honestly, it kind of it matters to some people, but it doesn't matter to everybody. You know. For me, I didn't get a an Outer Realms college degree because I was trying to study what I wanted to study, um, which was animations. But apparently, the college that I was going at, they completely lied to me, and I was not learning animation. I was learning web design, and I forgot what the other word is, but like it was just mostly like, oh yeah, I think it was like a little bit of graphics design and web design, but there was like zero animations. I've only had like one art class, and that was it. That was literally it, just one art class. Of course, yours truly ace the class pretty fucking easily, to be honest. But besides that, anyways, uh, I don't know. It's just the other classes never interested me. I was just like, what the fuck is this? What am I learning? So. And that was just kind of like, I just felt like I was just wasting my time. I wasted my scholarship and I didn't learn anything. I literally straight up did not learn anything. Like, honestly, I just literally just wasted my time. And then instead of that, I just went to go learn on my own. I went to go learn on my own off YouTube tutorials. I do know how to do some animations, but it's not like, it's not like a full in-depth thing. But I do know that, like, some of the ins and outs of animations and how to do animations. But it's been like, how long has it been? It's been like, um about maybe a little bit over than 11 years, roughly. Yeah, somewhere around there. Probably. No. Yes. Yes. I think so. Somewhere around there. Yeah. It's just over 10 years. That's all I gotta say. It's just over 10 years. The exact number, I'm not really too sure because my past is kind of a little bit blurry for some parents. I can't really remember. I honestly can't really remember too much about my past. I'm starting to forget my past quite a lot, actually.
He'll talk about it in a moment. He was making enough money where he could provide for both himself and his wife through those passions. Yet they wanted him to just burn it all to the ground, fucking salt the earth, so he could restart with what they think is acceptable, which was going back to school to get a degree and getting a 9 to 5 job. Both things that he did do. Well, he got the 9 to 5 job and attempted school, but school wasn't working out super well for him. But he did everything for that relationship to try and make her happy and be like an acceptable partner in his ex-wife's parents' eyes.
That's so weird. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if I dated a girl or a guy or whatever, and if they were asking me, I'd be like, "What do you do? What do you do for a living?" I'd be like, I'll tell them this is what I do for a living. I'd be like, "Do you have a degree or do you, blah blah blah?" And it's like, if they don't accept, I'd be like, "Okay, all right, you don't accept me for who I am. That's fine." At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, your daughter is over the age of an illegal adult, and if she still wants to be with me, well, tough luck. Oh well, you're gonna have to deal with me at the end of the day. So it's just like, I don't need a degree to be like, to make, money, like there's plenty of ways to make money. Shit, dude, I've done many things to make money.
So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneur thing. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody to prove something.
If I was in love with somebody, I wouldn't give up the stuff that I love to do for love. But are you forklift certified? This motherfucker, I swear. But yeah, like I wouldn't give up the stuff just because I'm in love with somebody, I'm like if they don't like the things that I like, you know, or they're not supporting, or if they're not like really supporting in the stuff that I enjoy to do, you know, it's like, what's the point of me dating this person, you know? It's like, what is the point, you know? Like for me specifically, it's just kind of like, I've never, you know, like, yeah, I'd made that one relationship worked, you know. Even then, I am my own worst enemy anyways when it comes to negativity. I'm always harsh on myself every single time. The only reason why I'm super harsh on myself, because I know that I can do better, which is a fact, 100%. And also to always keep me grounded 24/7, you know, because I prefer not to have an ego. So I'm always criticizing myself to the point that, like, you know, nobody can actually, like, literally nobody's criticism can hurt me but myself. So yeah, I guess you could say I'm the most negative person, but I'm only negative to myself.
So when we got married and we moved out to Baltimore to somewhere else that I didn't want to be, she said, hey, how come you're not paying the bills? And I was like, what? I have a job. I have a 9-to-5 job. I don't make enough from this 9-to-5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing in YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9 to 5 all day long, and that's not a complaint, because there are people who do that.
Yeah.
But I had something that most people wish they had.
He's right. He had the dream job. He literally had the wet dream most people wish they had.
That's true. That's true. That is very, very, very true. Don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. Like, he had the dream job, you know, paying bills from YouTube, doing the hobby that he loves, which is Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, and he gets to make content out of it and then pay bills with on top of that, you know. He went to go do street performance because he enjoyed doing street performance, you know. It's just kind of like, I think that's pretty cool in my personal opinion. That's a pretty cool person. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, you know. That is the dream job, you know. That is the dream job.
Which is their hobby, their passion, being able to sustain them. So they don't have to do something that makes them miserable just to survive. And he says, like, he gave all of that up for her and this relationship, and that new shiny 9 to 5 that he got, all to please his wife, because she believed that that was the only real way to grow up and, you know, move on from Yu-Gi-Oh and street performing music. Well, that 9 to 5 couldn't pay the bills for both of them. And that's the unfortunate reality of where America is right now. I've talked about this a lot. The normal salary you make at like a 9 to 5, you can't fucking live off of that in like a 2-person household. That just, it's impossible. Things are way too expensive, especially in certain locations. It's just not happening. It's an absolute shame. It's a fucking crime. I'm not going to just rant about that. I've done that plenty on stream. He had a job that could do that. Like, he had a job people kill over, and she just didn't like it, found it cringe, I guess, wasn't proud of his hobby and that job that was making him money. So forced is the wrong word, because he mentions as well, he made the choice. He ultimately chose to get rid of all of that for her, but she was pushing him to do it, and now he's miserable with this 9 to 5, and she's not happy because that 9 to 5 isn't able to pay all of the bills.
She says, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yu-Gi-Oh again. So, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing from this video, to be honest. I cannot believe what I am hearing. She tells him to get a hobby, and she gives him the thumbs up for the fucking hobby. Even though he was making money before she met her, and he was paying bills and everything off his YouTube channel. He was doing really well. Damn, dude, we're coming in full circle, aren't we?
You know what she said? You're spending too much time playing those cards. She says, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something.
After selling everything and starting over, he does eventually get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! To a certain extent where he picks up the hobby again, but
nice.
His wife still just hates that the hobby he picked up was Yu-Gi-Oh! And YouTube. So he goes on to say how she just really didn't like it. That's when he gets into saying how she would like actually cry over Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's where I was saying, like, if it was completely consuming his whole life, where he was ignoring her and everything in the relationship was starting to just dwindle because he was too preoccupied with Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'd understand it. But from what I'm seeing and like going back to his channel, it doesn't seem like that was really the case. He was talking about how since he'd been away from the game for an extended period of time, he needed to relearn it. He needed to catch up on all the new things with Yu-Gi-Oh! So he could make content around
the whole meta, the new packs and everything, you know, all the strategies as well, the new effects of the monsters, what they do, you know, and all this other, whatever other specific content as well that he does.
So he'd be able to be knowledgeable on it, which is perfectly understandable, I'd say. And it doesn't seem like he took it to an excessive degree. It's his passion, it's his hobby, it's what he wanted to do, and it's what he was doing, so he wanted to get back to it. He recognized just how much of a gift being able to do that and make money off of it was, and he wanted that back. So he was getting back into the hobby. She still really hated it. One thing led to another, and now they're no longer together. And it seems like the big reason is because of Yu-Gi-Oh! The deeper issue is that she had absolutely no respect for his passion, and she wasn't supportive and seemed like was embarrassed.
Yeah, it was like, why would you ever date somebody like that? Like, even I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't date someone like that. I did date someone like who was a complete opposite of me back then, you know, but that was like back then though. That was like way, way long time ago, you know. I've only done it like what, one time or so? Yeah. Just one time. I don't know, we just kind of clicked or so, but we still had like it wasn't really like a toxic relationship or anything like that. We actually did, you know, like we may have like different things that we enjoy, but I do remember like we still got along really well together at the end of the day. We spent time together, you know, we did things, you know, and all this other shit, you know. Like it wasn't really crazy or anything like that.
Embarrassed of him. So it's two people that should have never been together in the first place.
Yeah.
He gave up everything he loved to try and make her happy, but she was never really happy with the man that he actually is. So it's just very incompatible, and they tried to make it work, and it didn't work. And both people, I think, were not happy as a result of the relationship. Hopefully going forward, they both find better partners. Hopefully this guy's starting over on his YouTube channel. Luckily he was able to buy it back. Hopefully he is able to find that success that he once had. And
I'm glad.
Just kind of wanted to talk about it because I just found it to be one of the more honest videos I've seen on the platform about a subject like this. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that was a good video in my personal opinion. That's crazy in my personal opinion. Never really I don't know. I would never give up, you know, the hobbies that I enjoy to do, you know, like, you know, streaming and like doing VTubing and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it would probably break my heart or so if I had to give up VTubing and shit like that, you know, because then I wouldn't be able to hang out with you guys anymore, you know. That would kind of suck in my personal opinion, you know. No more co-streams, no more Sunako streams anymore, you know? I would hate myself for that, actually. Like, I would probably feel miserable, like, every single day, you know? But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff, and yeah. I don't know, I'd rather have someone who supports me all the way than not have, you know, than have someone who doesn't support me at all. You know, I'd rather have that partner. I'd rather have that partner specifically who is there to root for me and cheer for me on, you know. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of the video, and peace.